Oh, I suppose that there's a way I can share this before I go live and then go live once people know about it, and then I don't spend this like awkward 5 minutes trying to like make people aware that I'm on here. This is what I've got. Also, I just added a deck of magic cards to my tripod situation. So, okay, share the stream, copy, go to the Facebook. I am struggling with the typing today. Okay. I've still got gluten stuff open from yesterday, so that's fun. Okay. How do I get rid of this on my face? Okay. Good morning. Happy Thursday. My hair looks stringy. I don't know what to do. Let's see. What's been going on? Thursday. I got nothing. Sort of just was doing a whole lot of nothing. So this is water. So let's just get right into it. The things I'm thinking. So last week, I talked about how I was thankful for my previous job because it helped me learn how to talk to children in useful ways. Still thankful for that. I also talked about that because I had forgotten to bring the thing that I was actually going to talk about or wanting to talk about. And so I brought that thing today. But first, I want to say I'm very thankful for my husband. I don't know that he wants me to talk about how thankful I am for him on the internet, so I'm not going to go into it, but I want you to know I'm very thankful for him. But today I brought Horsey. Horsey is a stuffed animal that I got, I believe. Now, I'm going to be saying a lot of things about this horse that I have no evidence for, and that I'm only 50% sure are true because I didn't, memories that I made when I was 5 are not super strong anymore. So, and I don't know even how accurate they were to begin with, but I'm going to be saying a lot of things, and some people might be watching who know that the answers are different, and I don't want to hear about it, basically, is what I'm saying. I don't want to hear about it, because that is probably the truth, but these are memories that I've had for quite a long time, and I like them, and I would like to keep them this way, and they're not hurting anybody. So, Horsey. I got Horsey for my 5th birthday. My 5th birthday was a very low-key event. Well, actually, no, I may have had like a party of some kind too, but I had like a 5th family birthday where the only thing I really remember is sitting at our table in the kitchen with cake and my grandmother and my mom. I don't know if my brothers weren't there. It's possible if it happened on the weekend that they weren't there. Um, I don't remember if my dad was there. He probably was, but he's, you know, he's a very quiet man. So I just probably don't remember him. And my grandma there, so it was probably just a small family thing because my grandmother didn't come to like my parties with my friends and stuff. And I don't remember my aunt being there, but uh, this may have been the point. I don't think it was, but this may have been the time that she was moving um, to Rhode Island. I don't know. She used to live in Chicago with my grandmother. And so we used to see them together a lot, but I don't remember her being there. I hope she doesn't take that personally if she was there. She says that she got me this horse, my aunt. And oh my gosh, this is so cute. My aunt and my grandmother. And her name is Horsey, aptly put. When you're 5, what else are you going to name a horse? I used to chew on her ears. And she has held up remarkably well, I gotta say. Yeah, so oh man, I think, yeah, I learned how to sew because she had a hole in her and I wanted to fix it. So I sewed up her little arm. She has this little bridle thing, and it used to be sewed together right here. And it also used to be like the ribbon used to be attached and all these things, but it used to just be like this. And I'm not sure what the point of that was, but it did not stay that way. And I don't know if that was like on purpose, if I was like, I want this bridle to be real, or if I was just like, if it just like came apart because I played with her so much. Oh my goodness, I also forgot I braided her little hair. So most of her hair used to be like this. You can see, so it's got a little loops on it. Although it looks like there are a couple places where I was like being defiant about the loops and sort of just cut them. Not a lot of places. I didn't probably want anybody to know that I was doing it. But oh, and then there's a spot where I tried to braid her mane, but it didn't work. But so then I braided her into braids for the most part. And then it looks like I left exactly one braid not done. And like there's one that's coming undone, and you can tell that it was braided because the hair is really like kinked there where it had been braided. And this strand of 3 does not have that. So it doesn't look like I ever tried to braid it, which is funny. It was like I was always saving it to be braided later, I guess. And yeah, so this horse, Horsey, was the queen of my stuffed animals. Horsey was always, I was very, and I still am this way in a lot of ways, but I was very, I believed in Toy Story, if that makes any sense to you. I definitely thought that I could not be convinced that my animals did not have some kind of feelings, that they wanted to be played with, that they loved me, and that they wanted me to treat them nicely. And I still have that in a lot of ways with things like my Roomba. I don't like to badmouth my Roomba. It's just I can anthropomorphize pretty much anything without really trying. And Horsey was always my like right hand horse. She she was always on my bed. She was never relegated to anywhere but my bed. Even when I think even when I was like a teenager and really stopped having space for stuffed animals on my bed, she still stayed in my bed. Although often that meant that she got sort of squished into the side between the bed and the wall. But you know, what you gonna do? That's the price of being a queen, I guess. And I at one point, probably at several points, I made a town out of all of my stuffed animals and Beanie Babies, and she was the mayor. She was the mayor of the town, and there is a horse that I don't think I have. I think my niece has it, but her name was Big Horsey because she was big. She was like, she had to have been made by the same people because she had like the same sort of like hoof situation and like her face was roughly the same, but she was big. She was like the size of she was bigger than my current dog, so big. I think she was bigger than my current dog. I could just be remembering that wrong, but she was big. She was white and fluffy, and she also had a bridal situation, but that did not last, and it didn't even stay on her face. So, but those two, Big Horsey and Little Horsey. Oh yeah, I call her Little Horsey now because of Big Horsey. Big Horsey and Little Horsey sort of ruled the roost as my stuffed animals, and I there were several years in school when I wanted to show my stuffed animals where I went every day, and so I would bring some of the stuffed animals in my backpack. Sorry, my computer just. I bring some of the stuffed animals in my backpack so that I could go back and tell all the rest of my stuffed animals what. There's like a vampiric hole. A vampire. Anyway, so that they could tell the rest of the stuffed animals what it was like at my school. And she was always one of them. There was another one that was like a dinosaur, and that was sort of an ill-conceived idea because he was quite large. He took up my entire backpack, and he looked a lot like Barney. He just looked like a green Barney, and I was living in fear. Living in fear that someone would see that I had him in my backpack. I thought it was illicit to bring stuffed animals to school. But I think part of the thing was I lived in fear that people would see him and make fun of me. And so then I felt extra bad because I was not proud of him, or I was like, I had an idea that I was ashamed of him, and so I had to prove to him, and I had to be stronger than my fear, and prove to him that I loved him. So I brought him to. Anyway, I was a very anxious child, obviously, and a people pleaser, and a horse pleaser. So I've had Horsey forever, for 25 years, and she's come with me to Texas. She and a select few other animals. Like I said, she rules the roost. She's just so cute. Look at her nose. Look at that nose. She's just, I want you to see her again because look at how cute she is. And she's got these big hooves. And why am I thankful for her? Well, I'm thankful for her for a lot of reasons. I'm thankful for her because she has this connection to my grandmother and my aunt, and specifically my grandmother because I have very limited, not few, but limited memories of my grandmother from before she had Alzheimer's. And I have a lot of memories from when she had Alzheimer's because she lived with us. And the memories from before she had Alzheimer's I don't access those very often, um, in comparison, because, like I said, she lived with us when I was in high school, and she had Alzheimer's then, and so it was definitely like more likely that I'm remembering her then. But she was a beautiful old woman, not cute. I don't like it really when people say that old people are cute, but that's just sort of like my thing. But she was beautiful. She wore dresses that she probably made 50 years ago, and um, they were tailor made. Uh, and if they weren't tailor made, she at least tailored them to fit her perfectly. And she was, um, I don't know, she was amazing. She was beautiful, and she was funny. And I just loved her when I was a kid. And she had this wonderful house. It was huge, and we like to pretend it was like a castle or Hogwarts. And so for a long time, for years, I assumed that I'd gotten this horse from her, and so it was like it was ingrained in my head that I got this horse from her. But then at some point, my aunt told me that she had gotten the horse, and I'm still not sure how I got the memory that I did, of my aunt not being there. So I don't really know where that like communication was lost. But but that also just reminds me of the time that my aunt used to live at my grandmother's house, and I have very few memories of that. Um, but I have memories of my aunt putting dishes in the dishwasher, because we still talk about this. I think my family just in general has a like an obsession with the dishwasher. Like everything has to fit. There will be nothing that is hand washed, that could have gone in the dishwasher. Um, and my grandmother was the same way. My mom was the same way. I'm the same way. It's just what we do, I guess. Um, I also remember making her juice. I would take water and I would find fruit and I would like squish the fruit up, and then I'd put a lot of sugar in it, and then I would be like, Judith, look. And she'd be like, oh, I can hear the sugar. Because it was so much sugar. But like when you would swirl it with your spoon, you could hear it flopping around in there. So that was fun. I don't know. And so Horsey, and the idea that they conjointly got me this horse, just reminds me of those times. And I don't think about those times very often. And they are, at least in living in my memory, they are simpler, happier, um, like, I mean, simpler is the word that comes to mind, because they're memories of a 5-year-old. So they're pure, and they only remember things that now seem wonderful, then seem sort of like taken for granted. But so that's why I'm thankful for her. But I'm also thankful for her. Excuse me, I'm burping. I'm also thankful for her because she sort of demonstrates the part of my childhood that I that is like so central to me, but like I don't really think about it very often. The idea that I anthropomorphize everything. I was always scared of like hurting someone's feelings, even if that someone was a horse, like a fake horse, a stuffed animal horse. Like even just doing that, I was like, oh no, don't do that. Um, and I'm not like that now, like 100%. But like I said, there are elements of it that are still there, and I think it's it's a weird thing to be. It's a weird thing to do. It's a weird sort of um, I don't know, trait to have, or like habit. It's a weird sort of habit to have. But Oh my gosh, does she see all the plastic in here? Yeah. Made me into, in a lot of ways, the person that I am. So I've always had a very strong imagination, and that was one way it manifested. And I've always been a people pleaser and I mean, people pleaser is really this sort of sums it up. Um, and there have been a lot of times, especially in my adult life, when I've lamented that. I've been like, I wish I could be more confrontational, or I wish I could say what I mean all the time, as opposed to just like when it's a nice thing, or when I've already figured out how to say it in a nice or cushioned way. And I do think that those are valuable traits, and they are traits that I don't always have. But they're also not always good traits. They don't always have a good fit for the situation or the people or the whatever that you're dealing with at the moment. And I'm glad that my people pleasing comes from a place of empathy, of not wanting to hurt people, and of wanting to, as opposed to a place of like wanting them to love me, or wanting them to be wanting them to like me, whatever. I do have that too, but I like to think, especially now that I'm an adult, I like to think that I can rise above the need to be liked at times when it's necessary, at times when it's better to say something more confrontational, or at least something that's true, even if it means that someone's maybe not going to like me, or not going to like that I said it. But trying not to hurt people's feelings, while it comes with its own problems, and it is not a completely altruistic or completely positive trait, it is helpful, especially in my line of work, because people don't want to talk to you about the difficult things in their life if they think that you are, or if they feel like you're going to hurt their feelings, or if you do in fact hurt their feelings. So sorry, I'm like super spaced out and need to drink coffee or something. It's spacing out way a lot. But that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the ways in which Horsey both made me who I am, and also represents the person I am, and the way I got to be who I am. And she's also just really cute. She smells like my grandmother's house, which is just because my house smells like my grandmother's house, because my house is a little musty. But I appreciate it, like what I can get. Stuffed animals. I loved stuffed animals as a kid. I had so many, and I never liked the idea of like losing some, or like rotating them or whatever. So whenever people talk about when they're having kids, they're talking about how they're going to manage their kids' like desire for stuff, or they're going to manage their kids just like the number of presents that they get from family members and everything by like rotating out toys or whatever. It always gives me a little bit of fear because like I think if I were a kid and I didn't know that that was happening, it wouldn't have affected me greatly. But I would urge parents who are trying that to, and I'm sure that they do this, but I just want to put my foot down and say, if your kid has a horsey, that horsey's not on rotation. That horsey can't be on rotation. The horsey has to be the mayor of everybody, not just the people who are in the town now, but the people who are in the town always. She is an ambassador. from the past to the future of all the stuffed animals. Um, she was like the welcome committee. Whenever I got a new stuffed animal or a new bee baby, she would show them around. That's who I am. Welcome inside my little psyche, where things are weird and friendly. um, yeah, so tomorrow, last week was Flashback Friday. That's what it was. I could do that, but I honestly couldn't do it the same way because I think the flashbacks are exactly the same. Um, let me see. Let's do a little preview right here on this video. No, okay. There's a couple different things. But it's also, oh wait, no. Good Friday is next week. So I could do Flashback Friday. I could do Frivolous Friday. Do something particularly frivolous. Those are the two ideas I have. Like I said, I'm spacing out. If you have any other thoughts, hit me up either on Facebook or here or on Discord. And yeah. Bye.